and welcome to this interview series ahead of Data Center World on the 22nd and 23rd of May at Messe Frankfurt. I'm Rebecca Uppendale, tech reporter at Techarati, and today my guest is Isabel Kemlin, Business and Innovation Executive at Rise Research Institute of Sweden and Vice Chair of the Swedish Data Center Industry Association. Isabel will appear at Data Center World later this month, but today we'll be talking about 3 tech inventions or innovations that have had an effect on her life. So thank you so much for this interview, Isabel. And what are your 3 inventions you've selected for us today?
So, in the 15th century, the area of the printing press. It was invented by Johannes Gutenberg, and it revolutionized the world by making books accessible to everyone, spreading knowledge far and wide. So, the printing press was a hub of information and a game changer that kind of set the stage for the world as we know it. Then the second one would be actually the telegraph, which we witnessed birth of in the 19th century. So this invention actually transformed communication, making it possible to send messages across the vast distance in an instant. So my mother even is brought up with having the first, in the beginning, the only telephone exchanger in their village. And as a Swede, Lars Magnus Ericsson, he was a pioneer in telephone technology and actually founded the company Ericsson because he actually constructed Sweden's first telephone line at the age of only 17, which is quite impressive. And what he did was he improved Graham Bell's telephone design and made them better and cheaper. So his company, LM Ericsson, became a major supplier of telephones and telephone exchanges. So this was kind of the first step towards real-time communication, much like the instantaneous data transferred in the digital infrastructure today. And then I think lastly, but let's not forget the magnifying lenses, because I've always been very fascinated by universe and what you actually can see. But this invention that dates back to ancient times, these lenses brought the unseen into focus, open up new frontiers in numerous fields from astronomy, biology, archaeology, optometry and surgery. So this is kind of the printing press is like the data centers, the heartbeat of the digital age. And you have the telegraph, which is kind of the nerve of the center of global connectivity. And then the lenses, magnifying the unseen insights in an ocean of data that we are working with.
I know you speak many languages. Has that kind of theme of communication, has that always been something that you're drawn to and discussing topics from a variety of people and getting to know certain cultures? How has that experience been for you?
Oh yeah, that's kind of shaped me a lot because I was starting off traveling with my family from the very northern parts of Sweden, 1,500 kilometers down to Gothenburg by car. And then we took the ferry to Germany and down to south of France, which was also 1,500 kilometers. So we had a long distance to go, but there we met with some new friends, and those, we didn't really even speak the same language. I spoke the language, but my parents and my friends' parents still don't speak the same language, but they are the best friends ever. And I think that's fantastic. This is communication and meeting people and bringing people together has been a big drive in my life.
And is there some kind of common thread that you identify with people, no matter which country you go to or who you speak to? Is there always something there that you find that's a commonality, perhaps?
Yeah, well, I think that's the beauty of it, because in one sense we are very, very, very similar, but from another hand, we bring in with our experiences so many different perspectives, and if you just grasp a little bit, you will have the most fascinating. Every person has something, and you can hear the most fascinating histories and learning from them as well. So yeah, definitely.
Great. And I know that you've spoken a bit about data centers and calling back to your inventions, the printing press and, telephone communication, and then the lens as well. What do you think is in store for the data center industry in particular?
Yeah, I mean, we are grasping on that every day in my role in RISE RISE, which is Research Institutes of Sweden. And I think the beauty here is that we work in full value chain. So everything from the electricity with the grid, and then the network and the actual data center itself, and then how to reuse the heat that this generates. So I think there are so many things that are popping on this. But I think what we really need to look out for is to make this really, really, really energy efficient, which is, of course, positive from several perspectives. It's positive from a return on investment for the investors, but of course also from a global perspective, from a sustainability perspective. So I think here we will see some giant leaps soon going forward as well.
Great. And so if you had advice for any companies looking to be more sustainable or leveraging some of these technologies, what would you say to them?
We are a little bit conservative in the industry, and it's easy to do the way that we always done. But my urge is really for companies to look more on a wider scope, to look at the system itself, not just maybe the physical dimensions within a data center, but also where it's placed and how to bring working closer with the communities. So we need to look at things in a bigger perspective, because we are kind of leading the world into the digital area that we are going into. Everyone, every single company, everyone, we are all interacting with data centers multiple every single day. So what we actually can change here, and if we think in an open mind with an open mindset, we can actually do wonders together.
What do you think that the companies or providers or any of organizations who are working in this industry, how should they connect with the general public in order to make our industry more of a community?
Here, what I was touching upon is key. We need to move out of our own little world, and we need to interact with each and everyone at dinner, in a dinner table with friends. We need to tell them that actually, everyone is talking about AI, but the AI is a tool for some cool applications that will come. But none of this will work if we don't have the digital infrastructure as a foundation for it. So I think this message that we are the digital infrastructure, and it's needed for every single digital invention going forward. Without the data centers, it will not work. But also important to not overpromise things. We need to be thinking and be wise and so much more transparent in what we do. But I really, really stress that we need to talk in all the different communities that we are. We don't need to persuade each other. We already know how exciting this is, but just to get out of our normal circles and talk about this.
Yes, and I think it leads on quite well into what you're looking to talk about at Data Center World Frankfurt. I mean, this is a great hub for people to communicate and get to know more about the industry and get to know more about people that are operating within their space. What is it about Data Center World Frankfurt that you enjoy attending and speaking at?
Well, I think it's very, very interesting to hear the different the different speakers, because there are always some new, even though it's a lot of different conferences, but there are some new dimensions that actually can bring people together, because that's really, try to go and listen. I would urge everyone to try to go to listen to something that you're not, that's not my specific topic. Go to a different one. and listen in and see how can that specific thing actually be brought into my reality. We need that's one thing. And then of course the best part of it all is the networking part of actually seeing each other, because otherwise we go to our little data centers that might be hidden somewhere, and then we kind of crawl back to this community. And here we need to interact with each other, and that will sparkle so many new ideas. So that's the best thing for me.
And would you like to speak a little bit more about your session? What do you hope attendees will learn?
We are looking into several aspects that is happening right now, and of course we will touch a little bit on AI and how this explosion of data is going to change our world, but also how, again, coming back to how can we have a hat on which is called sustainability, and how can we be wise in our decisions going forward. So yeah, it's a lot around this topic, and I think given also the new regulations that are coming, we in EU with the Energy Efficiency Directive, this will kind of it's kind of unifying us all in this common goal to also be sustainable.